Hey, so I thought I'd just do a little gear tour for what gear I've got currently in 2013. Um, Mainly for my own recording process at the moment, just to look back on in a few years' time what I had or what I still will have, um, and just to log what I kind of thing I've got going at the moment. And as well, some of you might actually find it useful or entertaining, hopefully both. Okay, so I'll start with the guitars I've got. I'll start with this first one here. I'm not really using this guitar at the moment. It was my first guitar that I bought, or my first proper guitar. It's a Fender USA Strat. Um, and I bought this guitar in 2006. It was originally Olympic white, but I came home one night, done something stupid to the guitar, and had it resprayed Lamborghini yellow, which is a bit crazy. It's actually proper nitrocellulose paint on there. As you can see, there's quite a lot of wear on the guitar itself. As you can see, there's quite a lot. That's just all natural. It's got quite a lot of dings. It's going to age really nicely, but it's just quite a crazy colour. But I quite like it. It's quite unique. It's certainly a very well, the neck on it's a really nice neck. Really nice to play. Fits my playing style really well. This is the kind of guitar that moulded my playing style as well. So. That would definitely make sense why. Really unique sounding pickups on it as well. The neck pickup on it is just really unique, great sounding, glassy, throaty sounding neck pickup, but the treble pickup, the bridge pickup is not so great, but I suppose that just adds character to the guitar. I've thought about swapping the pickups out a few times. Maybe I will in the future, but I think it just retains a lot of the character with that guitar. So for now, it's definitely staying as they always have been. Okay, next guitar, much newer addition to my guitars at the moment. Bought this because I love playing Strats, and this one, the yellow one, isn't roadworthy at the moment. It's a really cool looking guitar. It's actually Mexican, but it's what they call a Mexican custom shop. I didn't know that they had a custom shop in Mexico, but there you go. Apparently they do. It's a really nice guitar, 62 reissue, with a kind of minty green scratch plate. All stock pickups in there as of the moment. I actually bought the guitar not only because it looked good and it played good, but the pickups themselves actually have just all those really nice stratty tones. Like when you change, like sometimes when you change between a pickup on a Strat, there's not huge differences until you go from one end to the other. But with this guitar, there's a real definition between each pickup, and you can really get all those nice stratty tones. A lot of the rhythm and lead sounds that you could generally expect to hear from a Strat. So I really love that guitar. Still, it will still take a while, I think, to be properly broken in, but I really do like it. Played great as soon as I got it. Okay, next guitar. I've had this for a little while now. It's my Japanese 62 reissue Telecaster. Again, I really love this guitar. It's just a naturally great sounding bit of wood. I don't know what wood it is actually, but it's just, if you play it acoustically, it's just got a nice ring to it. It's just got a nice chime to it. And again, the pickups are really nice sounding pickups. This guitar is actually not new. I believe this was made in 1991, this Telecaster. And as far as I can tell, they're really sought after guitars, these early reissue, you know, early 90s Telecasters. Players like Jimmy Herring, if you've ever heard of him, he plays this exact guitar. So they're very well put together, really nice bits of wood, and again the pickups sound great. And the volume control and tone control is really responsive on this particular guitar as well, which I really like. Okay, and just a bit about my acoustic that I'm playing. It's just a Freshman acoustic. I've forgotten the exact model. It's not a particularly expensive guitar, but it's the one that I'm playing at the moment and I've had for a few years now. I think I'm ready for something a little bit more at market, and who knows, maybe in the near future I will go for something. But it has served me well. It is a nice guitar. It sounds great plugged in, actually, which is something that's really cool about this guitar. It does seem to sound kind of how I like it to sound, and it's also very playable. It's got a very playable neck, and some acoustics, even the really expensive ones that I've played, like, you know, £2,000, £3,000 guitars, they don't always play particularly nice, even though that they sound, you know, nice. So that's a redeeming feature of that guitar. Next, I'll probably talk about my amp. Okay, this is my amp. It's right. I should have found out the exact. I've got it somewhere on a piece of paper. The exact model of this amp, but it's a Brough amp. It's a guy that builds them in my hometown. It's a great sounding amp, 20 watts, hand wired combo, with a 1x12 in the back of it. It's actually a Celestion Blue Alenco speaker in the back, which I don't know if you can see a bit of that. It's made, that speaker was made in England as well, so it's one of the really nice high grade ones. There's not a lot to the amp. You've just got, this isn't generally how I set it. I do set it a bit differently from what it is here. But you've just got a master volume, a treble, a bass, middle, treble, and then gain. But the gain isn't particularly gainy, which isn't really what I'm looking for anyway. I'm not after a high gain amp. I would say it's something like a Vox, or with a maybe a little bit Fendery in places, but I think it sounds great, very nice. And although it's, you know, it's 20 watts and it's got the single speaker, it's got plenty of headroom, and it keeps up with, you know, with a lot of situations that I'm in. And when you do crank it up, it does sound really great, because it's just very breathy and very dynamic as an amp, which is exactly what I was looking for. Okay, so we go from there, and I'll just tell you a little bit about the pedals that I've got. The signal goes straight from the guitar into just a Korg pitch black tuner, gets me in tune nice and quickly, good tuner. Then it goes into a more octave pedal, which is quite a crazy little pedal actually. Got a cool little blue LED on it, but you've got various options to have different sub octaves or octaves above, and it's just, I use it quite sparingly, but when I do click it in, it's quite a quirky, cool sounding effect. I will just say now as well, I'm not usually a fan of making the guitar sound not so much like a guitar anymore, but this just is a bit of fun, which I seem to like at the moment. And then the signal goes from there into my AC Plus Exotic Overdrive. I do tend to set it differently depending on the situation. At the moment it's like this, but it can change from gig to gig or whatever. It's a 2-stage overdrive. You've got 2 sides to it. Great sounding very dynamic, quite amp-like. But I tend to use it mostly on the bridge pickup to get that kind of singing lead tone. You get a lot of sustain, but it's not. It doesn't overly saturate your tone. Like, you get a nice gainy sound. I suppose it's like, if you think of a tone similar to like somebody like Eric Johnson or Joe Bonamassa or somebody like that, you get somewhere in that kind of ballpark of that kind of singing lead tone with that pedal. So that's great for that kind of thing. I also use it to boost it for rhythm sounds and just general bluesy leads as well and stuff like that. Okay, next pedal is the Keeley Blues Driver. Really cool sounding overdrive. I use it pretty much a lot of the time, and I kind of use my guitar's volume knob just to wind it off sometimes if I'm playing a song with a lot of crunchy kind of stuff. Again, I do set this differently from time to time. This is not always how I have it set. It's just a very great dynamic bluesy sounding overdrive, and I get a lot of my bluesy kind of lead tones from this pedal. Again, I highly recommend this pedal to anybody that is after that kind of blues tone that's very dynamic. Okay, so the signal goes from there straight into the MXR microamp. This is a recently acquired pedal. I do quite like it. It doesn't colour the sound too much, although it does add a bit of treble on top of your sound. And basically it's just purely just a clean boost. And I use it to just make rhythm parts a little louder, or I just use it to boost solo, like lead stuff a little bit as well. So in general, yeah, I do quite like that pedal. Okay, and then it goes from there straight into the MXR carbon copy with the ridiculously bright blue LED. I do have this set pretty much like this most of the time, and it's just a short delay, like a kind of slap back kind of gig kind of thing. And it just adds a lot of space to your sound, especially for lead kind of stuff. It just adds a little bit of sparkle to your tone. It's just like a little bit of magic dust you can just chuck over your sound. It does sound really good. I use it mainly for lead kind of stuff and rhythm stuff as well. But it's just a really great sounding analog delay. And I don't think I'll be getting rid of that anytime soon. But we'll see. Okay, so the last pedal on the board is the Holy Grail Reverb by Electro Harmonix. I happen to really like this pedal. I've had it for a little while now. As you can see, I do have it set pretty low, as I'm actually running all of the effects straight into the amp. So there's nothing's going in there's no effects loop on the amp or anything like that. So with my reverb and my delay, I do generally keep it down a little bit low because it can get quite wishy-washy and get a little bit distorted if there's too much of it, which I don't really like. And I don't like it too wishy-washy over the top of my sound. I just like a nice amount of reverb. But I usually keep it on the spring setting, occasionally the Hall setting. And it's just quite a nice natural sounding reverb, and seeing as I don't have reverb on the amp, it just seems like a good option. Okay, so that's pretty much all my pedals. I suppose the only other thing that I'm using that's any worth of mention is Planet Waves cables. I really like these cables. I think they're the custom series. Sturdy, great sounding cables, love them. So, hope you've enjoyed this little gear tour for 2013, March of 2013 to be precise. If you like this or any of my other videos, feel free to subscribe, and I'll see you soon.